We are now speaking to you in 4K,
We're in
wide angle.
4K. Look at all the distance
Look
that
at
we
this.
can cover.
We don't have to be in each other's pockets anymore. You're so
How
far
good's
away,
that?
I don't like it.
So, if you're watching this, you're watching us
On YouTube.
on YouTube.
This is
So,
the YouTube.
This is the YouTube.
This is actually your garage.
Oh yeah. We're going to do the same video as what we're doing on TikTok, long format. So if you're watching this one, thanks for coming through, thanks for supporting us. Subscribe, like, do what you want to do, share it, that's great. If you don't. Thanks. I'm on the back end, it's been a slow burner at the minute, but I'm on the back end of doing the ECU for the 190. I know I've been dragging my heels with it and it's been taking ages. So the goal today is to just get the Supercharger Bypass Valve. I'm going to wire that in. Very nice.
Remember to hydrate before you dehydrate.
Hydrate before you dehydrate. Yeah, just double checking wiring on Supercharger Bypass Valve. I'm just going to do it as effectively on-off. I'm going to change the hertz a little bit to make it not use too many amps so we don't set fires. I know, yeah, it's sick, innit? But then, yeah, that's going to be today, so yeah. So this thing here is all wiring looms. So what I want to do is I literally just want to make that little flap there.
And what does that do, Jod? What is that?
It was a flap.
Explain to the tube of you.
In an annoying turn of events, I just wanted to use as much of the original stuff as I could. Normally with a throttle body or a electric throttle body, it'll naturally spring closed, whereas the one that they used for the Supercharger Bypass Valve, its spring is to open.
So it's opposite?
So it's the opposite, yeah. Obviously you can't do that with a normal electronic throttle body because that would not be safe, because then if it failed, it'd just spring open and you'd be at wide open throttle.
Which we love.
Which we don't love.
Nah, it's alright.
That's how we blow engines up.
Don't worry about it.
I'm not worried. I'm worried. So yeah, all I'm doing is, rather than doing TPS and all that stuff, I'm literally just doing some high output motor drivers to the motor at 1000 hertz, just so I can get the motor to close when it's requested and open when it's requested. Later down the line, I'm going to see if I can get the TPS to work in tandem with it and calibrate the motor, so we can say we want it open 50%, 75%, etc. But for now, it's just going to be effectively on or off. Yeah. All the Supercharger Bypass Valve does is so you're not constantly putting strain on the supercharger, and also so you don't get chatter against your throttle plate because you're constantly building pressure at idle. With it being like the supercharger being belt driven. All we're trying to do is divert that air back into the intake so it's recirculating before it goes into the inlet, and all that does is it just stops you building pressure against your throttle plate, which in theory should make things nice and safe, and it stops there being any additional wear where it's not needed. So yeah, I want to get my laptop.
I didn't know you were an artist, bro.
Yeah, I'm an artist.
That's good, that.
I like it.
Who drew that? You?
Must have been.
So what tools do we need today?
A laptop and a can of Cherry Relentless.
Oof, I can certainly do you a can of Cherry Relentless. Do you need a fresh one?
Oh, now.
Oh, now. Oh, here we go. There we go. And you need your laptop. Oh, that's good, that. That's nice.
Everything's better now.
Good.
Tool.
You sponsored by Haltech, mate?
No, but if that's the potential, please do, because I've spent a lot of money.
Oh.
My very organised workbench.
It's good. I like it.
Good. I'm going to put that there. I'm going to put that just here. The battery on there.
Oh dear.
Right.
Secure.
Let's see if we can.
See if we can.
Live for this side. This is how we do good tests. Positive, happy, normal tests, and no one can say shit because you haven't done it. So this is for the DC motor driver.
Which is that.
Yes, so all the DC motor driver does is, because of the output availability on the Elite 1500, you've only got so many high output channels that could control a throttle body. Having a DC motor driver just means that you can control a standard DC motor at hertz safely. So it's got its own relay, it's got its own fuse, it's safe for 25 amps. I'm going to be doing a max 8 amp pull on it, but because I'm going to be at 1000 hertz at maybe 30-40% duty cycle, I'm only actually going to be pulling about 4 amp. a Hallotech.
Oh.
Got Cherry Relentless all down me back. All down me bloody mouth.
All down your mush.
So that's that. I'm going to just dangle this. An expensive...
Precariously, yep.
Yeah. Right, so that's all plugged in. And then all we're looking for is a green light on here when she go.
There
we go.
Is green.
Lovely. So that means that's all working.
When are you going to put that splitter on, George?
Bigger fish to fry. So this plug is what powers a DC motor driver. I've got a power coming from a relay, and I've got that ground outlet battery at the minute. That'll be hardwired. And then into this I've got 2 control wires. So these control wires are just coming from some spare accessory ones that I've got at the minute, which are digital pulsed output. So I think most other ECU providers call them PWM, pulse wave modulation. Haltech calls them DPO. It's all the same stuff. So basically what it means is I can send, it's effectively working like a trigger, but I can do high frequency. So I can send a trigger through that, and that will then control a higher output trigger through this box. So it just means that I can control a higher draw motor through a lower draw thing. If I wanted to, for example, I could control my radiator fan using this, and I could make the fan spin slower and faster at certain speeds just based on how fast the output is coming from these, so whether it's solid or if it's at a certain duty cycle. At the minute, just to test them, I've got things just on the pins, everything's on Dutch connectors. I've got some Wagos down here, and then to control the actual motor, if literally, I only need to use 2 of the cables on there. I've got a positive and a negative. So if you send the positive and negative one way, it's going to close it. If you send it the other way, it's going to open it. Because it's sprung, I'm just going to use it one way at the minute, so it closes it and then let the spring take it back.
Yeah.
It should be fine. Which means that when it goes into safe mode, it'll automatically just turn itself off, spring back to an open plate, and then we're not building pressure against the throttle plate.
Yeah.
So safety.
So if this all works, you can basically, you can terminate all this and make it all pretty and done.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Every single cable that the Haltech loom's got available is sat on these plugs here.
Yeah.
So if I decide that, or if I learn in a month's time that actually there's a better way of doing it and an easier way to control that motor, then what I'll do is I'll swap it out, and I can just, whatever temporary loom I've built or whatever loom I've built to go to that driver, I can just remove that and build a new one.
Yeah.
And it's all for the expense of a bit of that wire and a new plug, essentially. So, theory says that's on. I'll give it a little plug in. I'll then read everything from ECU. Now it's going to give you loads of errors at top. So all the errors will be your drive-by wires not connected, your wideband's got an error because it already knows what all the other stuff does. We've got everything working and the car running. The only thing that I've not sussed out yet is the Supercharger Bypass Valve, but I think this way should do it. The goal is I'm going to go generic output 1, open that up, assign that, let's do bypass valve. So I've got it set to duty cycle. I'm going to do 1000 hertz because I know that works well for this motor. And then wiring, I've assigned that to DPO 2. So that's your digital pulsed output, or like I said, a lot of other places call it PWM, pulse wave modulation. Assign that. We don't need any more outputs, so we'll just go outputs 1. Reset that, and then I should be able to go to this table. And I've got it based on throttle position, so I might say that at 20% throttle, it goes to like 40% because that's enough duty cycle to close it. If I go 100% duty cycle, what it'll do is it'll just try its hardest to burn the motor out. It won't be too bad because it'll only be drawing about 8 amps, but that's my limit realistically. So if I can keep it down at a lower ampage, I will do. The only thing that creates is it creates a little squeal, which is just the electrics constantly buzzing. But anyone who's
car's running.
Exactly that. Anyone who's ever used an electronic throttle body knows that they're going to do a bit of squealing, so we move. So, in theory, if I just do the full channel, because there's nothing plugged in at the minute, it's saying my TPS is 55 just as a standard reading. But if I put, we'll do 40. If I do 40 duty cycle there we go.
It closes. Just like that.
Like this would be at 100. Which is great, but it's probably drawing a lot more amps doing that, so
yeah,
we'll avoid that if we can. A good way to test that, actually. In fact, a really good way to test that. I've had an idea.
Oh.
Let's get nerdy. I'm going to get the cheapest, nastiest. Yeah, I'm going to get the cheapest, nastiest multimeter and see if I can measure how many amps are actually going through that using Wagos.
Ah.
Right. Cartools, cheap and nasty. Wago bag, one of them. What I'll do is I'm going to run one of them in that side and it'll hold onto it.
Yep.
And then I'll run the other one in line on that cable that's got the power running through it. Then in theory I should be able to test, because I'm only testing up to 10 amps, should be able to test how many amps are actually going through.
Clever.
It's the exact same way that you'd test if you've got like a parasitic draw on your card, you know, when it's turned off. We'll do that to there, and then we'll do that to there. So all I've got now is what them two wires were originally connected together. Now it's just running through the multimeter first. So that's pulling 3.6 amp. I've actually got them up backwards. So yeah, that's his draw, 3.6 amp. If I go to 100% duty cycle, even though that's making no noise now, that plate is solid closed and it's pulling 6.5 amps. Like that will just generate heat. Like this will start getting hotter and hotter and hotter because the motor, even though it's not making noise, it's getting tired because it's got constant power running through it. Yeah, so all the way up, we're peaking at 3.14 amp.
Which is happy.
And then that's absolutely fine. It's strong, so it's not got too much kickback. It's going to keep that valve closed, and we're only drawing 3 amp. This motor's rated to a 10 amp peak, but this is only going to be open when I'm on anything past 20-30% throttle. When I'm cruising on a motorway, that sort of thing, it's probably going to be open. So it's not going to be constantly under strain, so I'm quite happy at 3 amp.
Yeah.
So that's done. All that's nearly done. How does that make you feel?
I feel good.
Feel nice?
Yeah.
Feel a bit good about it all?
I feel good that you feel good about it, because I know you've been stressing.
I have been stressing.
And
I went on holiday for a week and worked it out.
You grenaded the old one trying to work it out.
I did.
Hilarious.
No, but I mean, it meant I did work it out, and I got that for 16 quid as a replacement. But yeah, the old one, I've now written on it spares only, because I absolutely fucking annihilated the thing. Like, this is broken. It's in bits. So I've got that just in case there's any spares that we need off it, but we'll be right. Otherwise, that will all be living quite nicely. In that little hole.
Yeah. We're going to use them fancy connectors on my car.
Yours?
Or we're just going to twist and tape and...
Twist and tape, lad.
That's about it, really, isn't it? You need to wire that up, so you don't need me. I'd danger noodle that, or...
No, I don't know what
you
wires
need to wire
mean.
that up, so less of this, more of that. That's the thing. I've worked out why the Mondeo keeps going in limp mode. So, my flexi hose, my exhaust flexi, after the flexi there's a lambda, and it's blowing out of the flexi, so it doesn't know what it's doing. So I'm like, give it some boost, and it's like, no. So it just keeps going into limp mode all the time. If I drive it half throttle, it's alright. Fucking drive. I'm stood here talking like my fucking Mondeos are 2 different, man. Fucking 130 horsepower there. Half power that.
I'm absolutely red hot, but next video on the 190 will probably be getting the wiring loom back in the engine bay, finishing up a couple of odds and ends on the where everything's terminated, and then yeah, I don't really know, we'll just wing it, eh? we'll be alright. And naturally, if you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe, share it if you like it. Nice one, brother. I'll see you soon. Peace.